So today we are going to talk about weight loss injections, sometimes called things like Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, Saxenda, depends on which country you live in, what the names are. But these are really popular and lots of you have been asking me to tell you my thoughts and my top tips for using these medications. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Dr Shauna Watts and I've been a doctor for over 25 years. I'm based in Australia, but originally trained in Northern Ireland in the UK. My specialty is general practice and I have a special interest in women's health, wellness and aesthetic medicine. So weight loss injections, they seem to give people lots of opinions out there, and whether you're pro or against, I think that they are actually a really interesting addition to the arsenal that doctors now have to help people who are struggling with being overweight or obese. So first of all, most of them are things called GLP-1 agonists, and they're basically a type of hormone which sends a message to your brain telling you that you are full before you probably have been previously, and also slow the transit through your stomach into your small intestine. So again, that you feel fuller for a lot longer. And some people will know that these have really captured the imagination of people around the world. Lots of celebrities have jumped on board, and they've also been in the media for lots of good and bad reasons. So I think they're very interesting medications. I think for a lot of people, they work extremely well. However, my first tip would be that you should really only get this medication from your doctor and through an official pharmacy. I do know that some people are getting these medications or potentially substitutes for these medications in other ways, and I think that's probably quite unsafe. So my recommendation is it's definitely something you want to be upfront and honest with. Have a chat to your doctor. I find that most of us are really very on board with these medications because we can see they're really helpful. My second tip is, to be honest, is if you decide that this is something that you want to go down the road of, ignore the haters. Or in fact, even your own inner critical voice. So first of all, this isn't cheating. What we know is that these medications have really changed our understanding around weight and appetite and satiety or fullness. And so stop beating yourself up. If you've struggled with your weight for a long time, and we know that carrying additional weight has lots of health implications, then it may well be really beneficial for you to lose weight. And if this can help you, well, then that's probably a good thing. We're not injecting willpower. And for years, we have felt that maybe people just needed to try a little harder or perhaps have a little bit more willpower, and then they would be able to lose weight. And I think the really interesting thing about these medications is I think that they prove that for lots of people, willpower and motivation was never really the problem, because they're losing weight now with these injections. And as I said, we're injecting a hormone, not motivation. My third tip is not to be tempted to accelerate your way through the dosing schedule. So we do move up through the doses in these medications very slowly. And I will tell you that for a lot of people, you will begin to lose weight even at really quite low doses. And if you try and skip ahead, which I know some of us are tempted to do, you may well give yourself a lot of horrible side effects. And because these medications are a once weekly dosage, your side effects may well go on for a full week. So the reality is you don't want to sort of try and race ahead. Do the schedule that your doctor has suggested. We often only change dose every 4 weeks. And even sometimes we don't need to change dose because people are already losing weight. So just be patient and just remember that it was the tortoise who won the race, not the hare. My fourth tip would be that if you are scared of needles, and I know lots of people are, first of all, the needle with these pens are tiny. And the vast majority of people will tell you that they can barely even feel the needle. So the needle is really short in length and it's also super sharp and super fine. So most people cannot feel it at all. But if you're one of those people who is super afraid of needles, maybe consider confiding in a really good family member or friend who you can tell what you're doing, and maybe they can be there with you, and maybe they could even help you with your first injection. Or what we do at our clinic is we will get one of our nurses or one of our doctors to be with you for your first injection so that you don't need to be scared. And most people, even the most frightened people of needles, are absolutely fine after their first one. My fifth tip would be that you must make this injection a part of a healthier lifestyle. So the reality is that if you keep still doing all the things that you always did before, then you're not going to lose any weight and nothing is going to change. So you have to think about this, is that this is a tool to help you and motivate you. And what a lot of patients tell me that it really does for them is it stops them thinking about food and about eating. And even though you might think that you don't think about food that much, sometimes when you use this injection, you will realize, actually I was thinking about what I was going to have for lunch next, or what snack I might have, or even thinking really negative things, thinking about what you shouldn't have, or beating yourself up about what you've just eaten. So I think that lots of people will say that it's the food noise that it really, really helps, but we have to make sure that we're changing our lifestyle as well. My next tip would be don't weigh yourself every day or even twice a day. I find some patients do that and it's a little bit disheartening. The reality is that you should probably just weigh yourself once per week and always on the same set of scales. Try and always do it at the same time. So try and do it maybe first thing in the morning, maybe when you've just hopped out of the shower, and then you can document your weight, log it on your phone in your notes, or, have a little notebook that you document it just for your own motivational purposes. And also your doctor will want to know when you have those reviews, how you're going. My next tip is that the commonest symptom is nausea, and some people also will vomit. Now, they are a minority, but if you do get those symptoms, then that can obviously be quite upsetting and distressing. Now, the good news is for most people, these symptoms do settle quite quickly, but they are completely understandable because remember that this medication is working on your stomach and your gut and your brain, and that's where all the nausea and vomiting centers and are coordinated. So, of course, it makes sense that these are the symptoms that we get. Stick to really bland foods on the days that you have this nausea. So maybe you have some toast or some cereal or something really, really without a strong flavor so that you're not perpetuating that nausea, and perhaps maybe convince your partner to do that cooking for a few days so that you can take a break away from those smells. The other thing I really advocate my patients do is to journal. So I know that journaling is very trendy, but it's also extremely evidence-based. So there's really good scientific evidence that if you journal, then it makes actually quite a significant difference to your behavior. And certainly within all my programs, I always gift all of my patients a journal because I want them to journal what they're eating, how they're feeling, how much water they're drinking. And there's really, really good evidence that even if you journal whenever you have a slip up, or let's say you eat a chocolate bar or you have a bottle of wine, that even by the act of writing that down, it actually makes your brain make better choices for the next few days. So even if you make a mistake, we want you to write that down as well. My next tip is that I want you to make sure that you incorporate strength and weight training. So we've all read the headlines and seen everyone talking on social media that you get lots of weight, muscle loss or sarcopenia with these injections. Now, what I want to clarify is that if you lose weight in any capacity, whether it's through a Weight Watchers program or healthy eating or for whatever reason, and particularly if you lose weight rapidly, you will always lose muscle. So this is not something that is just with these injections. It's actually with any type of weight loss. So first of all, I want to just point that out, that you will lose muscle as well, no matter what way you lose weight. But what's really important is that you're incorporating some kind of weight and strengthening program so that as you're perhaps losing some muscle, you can be building some new muscle in return. Because obviously what we really want you to lose is that fat tissue, and we want as much as possible to try and preserve muscle. So I know that one of the great things about these injections is people often feel that they can move a bit easier. Maybe their muscles and joints aren't quite as tired because they're not carrying as much weight. And then now is the time to really get on board and getting perhaps a personal trainer, joining a local gym, or in fact, there are lots of good online resources that will give you some simple regimes to start putting some weight through your body to get some muscle being built. And then my last tip for you is that constipation can unfortunately be a problem again because of this gut effect. And I think it's probably worthwhile at the beginning of your journey, at least, of taking a daily laxative. There's nothing worse than feeling nauseated and feeling constipated. And then you begin to wonder, why on earth have you put yourself through this? So take a gentle laxatives, stop you getting a sore tummy, stop you having that horrible bloated feeling. And as long as it's something really nice and gentle, it's not going to have any side effects or long-term implications. It's just going to keep everything moving through the gut nice and gently so that hopefully you don't end up with that horrible feeling of severe constipation. So I'm really hoping that those tips help you stay on track. I know a lot of you out there are using these medications or thinking of using these medications. And as I said, I think they're a fantastic tool as long as they're incorporated alongside the healthy lifestyle, that you're well supported by your doctor, and that you're taking it one step at a time. So if you're using these medications, I'm wishing you all the best of luck. I'd love to know how you're going in the comments below. And if you have any questions, let me know.
One thing that I hear repeatedly from all my new patients is that often their past experiences with appointments to address their symptoms of menopause have made them feel rushed, unheard, and frustrated. As a doctor of 25 years with first-hand experience and understanding the many symptoms that one woman may encounter in her menopause transition, I knew I couldn't do this subject justice in a 15-minute appointment, which is why I've created the menopause appointments, designed to support you on your journey through the perimenopause and postmenopause. This 60-minute session gives you and your doctor the ideal amount of time to understand your concerns, needs, and desires. It gives us time to do a comprehensive assessment, including a full review of your medical history, assessing your mood, your sleep, weight, and libido, and much more. Receive referrals for tests as needed, prescribe suitable medications if required, perform a skin analysis, and leave you with a comprehensive tailored plan unique to you. This is crafted to help smooth your transition through the perimenopause, postmenopause, and allow you to thrive, not just survive. If you or someone you know is experiencing perimenopause or continuing to have symptoms in the postmenopause, these appointments are for you. You can book an appointment with one of our doctors today. We have clinics located at Forster Speech and Newcastle, and you can book online at youbydrshaunawatts.com.au. This podcast and any information, advice, opinions, or statements within it do not constitute medical, healthcare, or other professional advice. Information is provided for educational and entertainment purposes only. If you have any health concerns, always consult your doctor.